devalue their currency. You know, they're currency manipulators. And they devalue their currency, and therefore the dollar, they're using dollars of a different value, and it makes it very easy for them to compete. Whereas we don't do that. We don't play games like that. Some people say we should. I don't have a viewpoint. But they devalue their currency, and they do all sorts of things. And what they do in the World Trade Organization, you know, we just won a case, $7.5 billion. First time we've won a case in a long time. I said, look, I'm going to get out of the World Trade Organization if I have to, just like I got out of the World Health. So we were paying $500 million a year in World Health. China's paying $39 million a year in World Health. I say, why are they paying? They're a bigger country. Why are they paying so much less? I asked these, you know, little stupid questions like that. Nobody could give me an answer. And yet they dominate the World Health, okay? They dominate World Health. And World Health, when they did this horrible thing to us, World Health did nothing whatsoever to help us. We're at $500 million a year, so I terminated the deal.
Oh, they're in the tank. They're in the tank for the
totally
shotgun.
In the tank.
I got to make an observation
here,
sir.
Same thing about World Trade. By the way, same thing about World Trade. Do you know in World Trade, China is considered a developing nation? If you're a developing nation, you get tremendous advantages in the World Trade Organization.
You get your hand in the back pocket of the United States Treasury is what you get.
100%. And I ended that. I said, I'm not going to accept that they're a developing nation. I wouldn't say China's in love with me, by the way. China is dying. Here's what will happen. Just a couple of predictions. If I win, we'll have a great deal with Iran within 1 month. They're dying to have me lose, but if I win...
A great deal on what?
No nuclear weapons. No
nuclear weapons.
Don't forget, look at what's happened to terrorism. Iran was a very wealthy nation, given $150 billion plus $1.8 billion in cash by Obama. A very wealthy nation. And now they're a very poor nation. And the terrorist organizations, I knock on wood as I say it, because it's easier to start something, but they're not fighting like they used to. You know why they have no money? Because Iran is bust. Iran is bust because of me, because of sanctions and other things. And the whole picture of terror, you don't see the terror. Now, I hate to say it on an important show like this, but I'll say it. You don't see the terror the way you used to see the terror. And they know if they do anything against us, they'll pay 1,000-fold problem. They're going to have 1,000-fold difference because they know we are going to do things to you that have never been done before. And they understand that. But here's the thing. They're no longer rich, and they're not giving out hundreds of millions of dollars to Hamas and all these other groups that caused all the problem. Now, nobody brings that out. When was the last time you saw an attack?
I hear the frustration in your voice. I need to make an observation here for the American people. We've now been chatting with the president for an hour, and an hour and 42 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. We have not had a commercial break. I would thus have to say the president's status with COVID-19 is pretty solid. The second thing that I would say is that not once during the hour and 42 minutes has the president been stumped. Has he not known what he wanted to say? Sir, you give the media in this country more access than any president ever. That's not even a contest. I think you've done something brilliant too when you have your little press gaggles out on your way to Marine One. The camera's on you, not them. You look like you're actually conducting an orchestra as you point to various members of the media when it's their turn. You're conducting a symphony, and everybody hears them screaming their questions at you like a bunch of 6-year-olds, and you answer them. Every question you're asked, you answer. You don't take a pass on anything. And you don't run away from anything. You don't hide from anything. And you'll meet them wherever they happen to be. If you're able to, you will. And I think people need to keep this in mind in terms of a chief executive who is accessible to the American people and wants the American people to know what he's doing and what he's thinking. There's no deception here. You have somebody I don't want to embarrass you here, but you have somebody who thinks this country is great. You have somebody that loves this country, perhaps in ways that many people in politics in the past don't, because their view of what America is a nation among many in the world. President Trump believes in America first, and for this he's hated. For this he's criticized. America first. There's nothing wrong with America first, because America's the good guys. We are the good guys in the world. We are the solution to the world's problems. You have a man here who believes this, who believes your country holds the secret and holds the answer to life improving for citizens and human beings all over this planet. That's the objective that he has, including for people who live in this country. And can you imagine folks being hated and reviled for this? And yet he is. He's hated and reviled for loving America, for believing that America is good. His opponents think America's racist, sexist, bigoted, homophobic. Hell, we may as well still be a slave state as far as they're concerned. It's outrageous how they've poisoned the minds of our young people and got our young people hating their own country. Donald Trump has been your arrival on the scene has been providential, I believe, sir. I think you are the one person who has the ability to delay, stave off, stop the left from this inexorable march of theirs into changing this country and into things the American people that aren't paying attention have no idea what's in store for them if they win.
Well, Rush, I appreciate that very much. It's an honor.
I mean it out of my heart, sir.
I know you do. And this is the most important election that we've ever had. And I used to say 16. I don't even get into that anymore. That's over. This is the most important election that this country has ever had. On so many different fronts. There's never been anything like it. We will go the way of failed nations all over Latin America, South America. We will go the way of failure like nobody's ever seen and in a scale like nobody's ever seen it. We've been taken advantage of by every nation in the world, including our friends. Our friends sometimes are worse than our enemies. We are, what I've done with NATO, we were taking care of virtually 100% of the military needs of Europe, guarding them from Russia. At the same time, they were taking advantage of us on trade, and in many ways, they were worse than China. Europe was worse to us on trade than China was. I mean, and I changed so many things. But, then they say, oh, in Germany, they don't like Trump as much as they like Obama. Well, of course they shouldn't like me, because Germany was taking advantage of us like few countries took advantage of us.
What was Angela Merkel doing making a deal with Russia on that natural gas pipeline? You made that point at NATO. She should have been buying it from us.
Nobody even knew about that pipeline until I brought it up. I said, why are you paying Russia billions of dollars and we're protecting you? Tell me, what kind of a deal is this? We're protecting you, but you're giving Russia every month billions of dollars.
What did she say?
She smiles because she's a very smart one. She knows it. There's no way she can answer the question. I say, you don't have to answer the question, Angela. I like Angela. I get along with her, believe it or not, quite well. But, she's a player. And I said, Angela, don't answer the question because I don't want to embarrass you. There's no way she can answer the question because she gets away with it. That's why. She's a very smart, cunning person. But I caught him. Hey, Rush, I got them to pay $130 billion going to $410 billion more each year against Russia. Now, I get along with Putin. I like Putin. Putin possibly likes me, but I guarantee you one thing, he would have much rather seen crooked Hillary, and I guarantee you'd rather see Biden because Biden is slow. Biden is not equipped to be president. He never was at his best day, but he is not equipped now. It's no longer prime time, and not because he's 78. Because frankly, at 78, as we said before, I know the sharpest people, they're 85, they're 80. It's not an age, now they're all saying, oh, at 78. It's not because he's 78. There's something wrong with him, okay? And we can be nice about it.
Well, they know that. That's why they're angling to get Kamala the gig.
Nobody wants to say it. But he can't, his thoughts are bad. Here's a guy, you talk about access to the press. I've never seen this before, and I've watched a lot, and I don't know how he gets away. You saw that NBC joke the other night where it's like a child, like you're asking a child questions. They don't talk to me that way. when you look at the questions that he gets, and then he reads the answers off a computer. Now that means that these supposedly legitimate, but they're not legitimate. You know that better than I do. These news organizations are giving him questions. They're putting him in a computer. He's reading the answers off a computer. I never heard of that before. I've never done that. Can you imagine? Give me the questions, and I'm going to give you an answer off a computer. He's reading the answers off a computer a lot of times. And if he doesn't do that, he's all mixed up and befuddled. And Chris Wallace saved him 3 times the other night. I mean, he was getting ready to crack, and Chris Wallace, who was terrible, by the way, who I think really embarrassed himself, and Fox the other night, but Chris Wallace saved him. But can you imagine, you're getting the answers to questions, and you're getting the questions themselves, and you're reading the answers.
Well, they were doing that for Hillary, too. That's how they rigged the game for the Democrats. So look, I got another Biden soundbite here for you.
One thing I'll say, Hillary was much smarter. Hillary's a much smarter person. You know, I mean, look, Hillary was smart.
I don't agree with that, but, I mean,
I understand. But Hillary was... You know, Hillary didn't need to have answers written. You know, she could answer a question. Joe cannot answer a question. Joe, they can answer. They ask him a question, a very simple question, and he's reading it off a computer. He's saying, "Move the computer. You know, move it. Bring it closer. Bring it." He couldn't see it.
Yeah,
bring it closer. On a question that anybody could answer. I mean, it's a very simple question. We can't have this. We could be nice. And maybe I'll lose because they'll say I'm not a nice person. I think I am a nice person. I help people. I like to help people. But we can't have this as our president. We really can't, Rush.
Here's another Biden soundbite for you to react to. This June 7th. Now, this is all the way back 2006. This is 14 years ago. Now, this tells you who the guy is. This is before any of whatever the aging problems that have befallen Vice President Biden. Now, this is 2006, so 14 years ago, Manchester, New Hampshire.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Now, you and I say that, and we are roasted and excoriated. He says that, oh, that's just old Joe.
Right. We would be, but still, that's a much different man talking there than you see now.
Well, that's
different man.
Exactly right. Ballots. We got a dwindling time here. Virginia Beach, Virginia police just confirmed that undelivered mail was found. This story is it might be yesterday or the day before. Undelivered mail was found this afternoon in a construction dumpster in the Pungo section of Virginia Beach. The man who found it estimates 70 to 80 pounds of mail. USPS, the Postal Service, is investigating. And then we have another companion story. Mail-in ballots in Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania have been delayed. Voters are confused and frustrated. 58,000 mail-in ballots. One county, sir, in one state. Extrapolate that to the entire state. 58,000.
Solicited ballot. I like that term better. You solicit, and they send it, and you fix it, and you send it back in. Okay, that's one thing. But they're sending out millions and millions of ballots. Are they sending them to all Democrats? Who are they sending them to? Where are they going? You know, et cetera, et cetera. This is going to be the second biggest political scandal in history. The first biggest is the Russian crap that we've been going through for 3.5 years. That's the biggest. To me, that's the biggest scandal, biggest political scandal in history.
It is.
What we've been going through, and now they delay it. You tell me they delay it? That's going to be my first phone call, by the way.
Delay the announcement of whatever's. Yes.
I think it's just a disgrace if that's the case. It's a disgrace, and I'll say it to anybody who wants to say it. That's a disgrace. But the biggest scandal of all time is that this will be the second biggest scandal. Every day, I'm seeing accounts of ballots that are thrown away. You saw the military ballots that were thrown away with my name on it the other day. Every day you see scandal about these millions of ballots that's being sent out. It's the single biggest risk in this election.
If this kind of stuff were happening to me, if I were a candidate, I'd have my people on this so fast. What are you doing about it?
We have many lawyers, and we've actually been winning many cases. How about where they have the ballots counted, and the ballots have to be in by November 3rd, Election Day, but they don't have to be counted for 2 weeks later. Well, that means you're never going to know who won the election. You know, it's going to be 2 weeks later. I want to see on November 3rd who won the election. So do you. You want to turn on your television like we have for the last 50 years and find out who won the election, right? You don't want to say, oh, gee, they have 2 weeks to count their ballots. And then what happens is all sorts of ballots start showing up miraculously. We're watching it very closely, and we're winning a lot of cases, Russia. You don't see it too much. We just won a big case in North Carolina. We just won a big case in Pennsylvania, I think. We're going to win. We're winning a lot of cases. Rhode Island won a big case where the ballots have to be done in a certain way. But the best way is to get up. Now, I tell you what, our people, your people, my people, Republican people, they get out, and they're all my people as far as everyone's my people. But Republicans tend to get out and vote, and that's what they should do. Early voting, but at a machine. Early voting or voting on November 3rd. And wait till you see the kind of love that's going to be expressed the day those polls open. The day those machines open, wait till you see. But the Democrats are sending in 80% of theirs by ballot. Now, one thing we've noticed from what I hear and from what I'm reading is a lot of the ballots, all they're doing is taking from people that would have voted in the first place. They're not a lot of new voters. You know, we have many more registered voters than we've picked up a lot of voters, the Republicans. I think you're going to see a very, very big explosion when those polls open up, Rush. But a large percentage, like 80% of the Republicans want to vote. They want to actually go to a poll and vote.
Yeah.
Whereas it's almost the opposite, for whatever reason, with the Democrats. I think you're going to see a very big explosion of voting.
Well, the Democrats need a little yellow bus showing up, picking them up, taking them to the polls, get there on their own.
They do. Right. And then they do the harvesting thing, which is terrible, which is illegal in many places, even with the laws that are being passed, where they go around and they start picking up everybody's votes. You know, we have a big enthusiasm gap. Our gap is so much more enthusiastic, like 35 points. There's never been a gap of enthusiasm between, let's say, me and him that there is. Look at the boat shows. I mean, thousands of boats in the ocean and in the lakes. And
that's another thing. You know, that Gallup poll that shows 56% of the American people think they're better off now than they were 4 years ago, even in the midst of pandemic.
Right.
There's another part of that poll when they ask people after who do you think's going to win and how do you think when they ask people, who do you think is actually going to be elected president? You are the
by a lot,
by an absolute lot, and that poll that's never been wrong, by the way, sir. That question has never been wrong.
They say, who is your neighbor going to vote for?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Who
do you think your neighbor is going to vote? Exactly.
They know their neighbors. No, because people don't want to get involved. I mean, even the signs. We have signs all over the place. We have signs in states, but they steal the signs. People steal the signs, and they're stealing. It's a well-known thing. They're stealing the signs. Our enthusiasm is far greater than it was 4 years ago. Far greater, because they love the job we're doing. And they know this pandemic was a horrible thing that happened to us. It should have never been allowed to happen by China. China's going to pay a big price. And it's one of those things, but it happened. And we've done a great job on it. We got no credit. I'll tell you what, if this turns out to be right, that this medicine is going to make people better, that's a game changer like nobody's ever seen before, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen, Rush.
Mr. President, thank you. You've 2 hours here, and I know you've got a jam-packed day left on your schedule.
That's true. But it's an honor. It's an honor to be with you for 2 hours. You have no idea. It's a great honor.
Well, it's great to have you here, and I know you got Brother Levin tonight. You're doing his show tonight, and that's going to be kick-ass. So we appreciate it, sir. We love you, and I meant everything I said today. You are the person standing in the way. You are the one that true American patriots have invested their hopes for their future and their kids' future in. You are the person they are depending on to stave off this attack on our country that is coming from inside. It's coming from inside our country as opposed to outside, although that's happening too.
It is largely, and you know what I say oftentimes when people say that? I have no choice. I have to do it. I have no choice, and that's what I'm doing. And
best of luck to you, sir. Thank you so much.
The heat that's on